I'd like to talk about my Bosch drill. I thought one of these would be really handy in the workshop. But the thing is it's got this chuck, which I've been an engineer all my life and I usually get things fairly tight. But the issue with this one is you can't get it tight enough to hold, well, get it tight enough to hold a drill, but as soon as it sees any bit of load, the chuck just slips. So this has probably been the most expensive drill ruining tool I've ever bought. So I'm very disappointed with this chuck. Now what I'd like to go through is the process of removing this chuck and fitting on a conventional chuck. Now the chuck I've gone for is a Rome chuck. Got a model number on there. I think it's slightly bigger there. There we go. And there's a picture of the chuck just there. So this is a keyed chuck. So you always kind of know where you are with one of these. I mean, I don't use hex bits in the drill, so I'm just using it for drilling the odd ad hoc hole, or sometimes you've got a piece of kit that you can't fit into your drill press, so it's good for doing those kind of jobs and things like twisting wire as well. But that's one of the things that the drill's probably been okay at. But as for drilling holes, it's generally been quite poor in the fact that it ends up ruining the shank on the drill when the drill wants to slip. Right, okay. So here is the chuck we're going to fit on, and inside it's got a hole in there which is a 1/2 inch 20 UNF, and inside, if I undo this Rome chuck is quite nice. It feels solid and bad word really, it feels engineered is probably a better choice. Now in the bottom there we've got you probably can't see it, is a countersink hole, which is one of the things that we have on our regular Bosch drill. Because it fits in on a thread, we have a right hand thread to fit the chuck on, and then we have a left hand screw to stop it coming undone when you use the drill in reverse. So this is the screwdriver I'm going to use. It's a Posi number 2 to take the chuck off. First thing to do is to remove the screw. So if we wind that all the way out, and then what I've actually got to do is to try and tighten that. So this is the thing, you'll notice that I'm turning the screwdriver in the other direction. We've got a left hand thread. Hopefully that'll screw will come out. You can see it's got a bit of thread lock on there, which we'll probably put on when we do the refit. And that's the first screw out. Now what we've got now is a regular drill, and we've got to unwind that. Now the best way to do this is probably with an old Allen key that will fit in there. Let's do a demonstration of that so it makes sense. So here's an Allen key, remembering that this is an 8mm AF. We've got I think this is a 10mm chuck maximum capacity. So what we're going to do is put that in there and tighten that guy up as best we can get it. And then what we're going to do is hit down on there with a hammer and try and free it off with the shock inertia. So a smart tap on there with a hammer. I mean, if you want to use a rubbish Allen key for this rather than your best set, and probably use a plastic mallet or something with a bit of mass behind it that won't do too much damage to the screw. But that will release that. So if we do that, I've freed this one off already, so I've not had to use a hammer. Remove the Allen key, and then the chuck will just unscrew as per normal. Now this is going in the bin because I don't think it's particularly good, and it's not befitting of the drill and the drills that I like to use, and it ends up costing me more money in repairing drills or buying new drills because they become damaged on the shaft of the drill. So there we have what we would regularly expect to see on a drill. This is our 1/2 inch UNF 20, I think it's 20 TPI. 20 TPI, I think it is. So that's what you get on a regular drill that would just go clockwise in its rotation to do a regular drilling. Just give that a wipe out to get all of the bits out, any dust, leave that nice and clean. Now if I offer up my chuck, quite an ungainly gap there, and I've got a feeling that could get damaged there. So we've got a gap in there of approximately 4 millimeters around the outside of the drill. Just looks a little bit untidy, and I guess if I'm drilling or it takes some knocks at this edge for the torque setting, will take a hit. So what I've done is I've made a bush here. So this is made out of a material called Delrin or acetal, ACETAL, and I've machined this so it sits in this sits in the gap. So if I take the chuck off, you can see we've got that little seat in here. Now as the thread goes down, you can see we've got a relief in here. So if I made it to the exact size and to that thickness, to get over the thread it would require a 1/2 inch plus hole, but by the time we got down to here we'd be somewhere around 11 millimeters or so. So if I put this on there, because this part will actually rotate with the chuck, it would run off center and it'd be difficult to get it to center. So what I did is there's a little relief in there, so as this slides down, that's going to sit over that edge, and that inner diameter there will actually locate on the outer part of this shaft, so that will hold it central. Also I've put in a relief and a guard so that it slides in as so, and then there's a step in here. As if you look at the back of the drill, the chuck is got this relief here, so I could leave a bit of material in that corner there just to make it a little bit stronger. And one other point to note is the fact that there is actually a thrust bearing in here, so when you actually push down on the drill you get some movement. So what I've got there is probably around about 1 millimeter of clearance in this gap, so that when I press down on the drill none of this will rub. So let's fasten the chuck on. Just going to clean the threads off camera. So this one is going to go on like this, and you can see with this piece of plastic I've made that it just gives it a slightly more finished look. So now what I want to do is to drop the screw in there, so I have to make sure all the jaws are, just check that all the way back so I can fit the screw head in, and then I shall tighten that up. So I've just dropped the screw in there now, and I'm just tightening this up. Remember it's a left-hander, so we have to wind it the wrong way round. Just give that a nip. There we go. And there it is. My conversion of a Bosch PSB1800 Li2. To a keyed chuck. Thank you for watching.